Hi Virgo, welcome to your weekly reading. I'm sorry my friends that have taken me so long to download your video or to actually make it, but I've just been really busy. My parents have been sick and I've been helping them out. And I was able to put one in Spanish, but I had to make this one. So, I apologize. But here we are, right? I want to say thank you to all of you who are following me, and also to those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. And I really hope that, during this time we can have this beautiful exchange and where, we all get to benefit. Okay, Virgo, so I'm going to go right into your reading. Okay, so in this cycle, I see you in a state of, I'm going to say conservation, in a state of almost contentment, in a state of recognizing certain things about yourself that is helping you to survive, maybe in a situation or an environment that is not conducive to positive things. Okay, camel energy, this is the energy that is representing you right now. We know that it's an animal that transport through the desert, and we know that it has the ability to sustain itself. It can, it draws from its own water and can do that for a long time. Okay, we also know that the desert, the sand is not a very solid ground. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening to you. That although you have not yet reached that solid ground, that you're able to sustain yourself. And you're sustaining yourself with all of those, sort of understanding and wisdom that you have. It's like a lot of your insights, a lot of the things that you've learned through life, especially in this last few years, is what's helping you to sustain yourself in a time where things have not really been very clear. So in a way, whatever storm you were going through, Virgo, your perspective and your attitude has finally shifted the energy enough where you release the devil energy, you release your expectations, your frustrations, your disappointments, and surrender. And you do that by remembering, right, certain insights, by abiding by those insights and knowing that things are just working out for you. That this didn't work out, but that's okay because something else will. And it's more of your attitude that makes a difference than actually anything else. So in the heart of the reading, you have the World card, my friends, and this is an awesome card to have. Look at that, because this describes an alignment in the elements, okay? Which elements, Virgo? Well, these are all the elements you need to reconcile in order to create all of the physical experiences in the way you want, okay? So the experiences that you have every day in your life is just a reflection of how you feel, okay? So we have here Neptune representing emotions. We have the camel representing fire, our passions. And we have the hummingbird representing our insights, changes, the lessons that we learn, perspectives, okay, that we have, our analytical mind, our logic. So these are the three elements that you have reconciled and have finally brought this World card. Because to me, The World card represents when we finally start accepting that we're more than a mind, that we're more than our emotions. Actually, that our emotions is only a translation of the energy we think about. And our emotions is kind of our guidance system, right? It tells us when we're in a good mood and when we're not. And if we're not in a good mood and we feed more of that, well, we don't get anywhere. We just create more of that. So our emotions are just the translation of the energies that we're moving through our body. So when we stop letting our emotions determining our state of being and we start focusing on more positive things, then we are on the top of the world, don't we? Because we can soothe those bumpy rides that sometimes we go through to understand something. And I feel, my friends, that you're doing that. And when we get to be in that place, when we finally surrender and we trust the universe and we know that it's all about vibration, guess what happened, Virgo? You get what you want. Because here, number 4 is coming out twice. And number 4 talks about the energy of the emperor, okay? It's the way that we use the energy of the emperor through tarot. Now, I know that emperor sometimes represents a person, an older person, but in this case, is representing the archetype of the masculine energy. And that archetype talks about stability. What are the things that we're willing to do to attain or to create a stability in our lives? And here's coming out 2 times. With the 4 of Cups, emotionally, daydreaming our desires, transforming our limiting beliefs into positive ones. You see that those lotus flowers, Virgo? Well, there you are. And the 4 of Wands is talking about, the passion, being clear, knowing what to do. Camel has the ability to balance 2 opposite elements, fire and water, passions and how much in our emotions, right, which is water. But here we're learning when we give, when is proper and good to give, and when is proper to take away. Sometimes we want to give everything all at once, right? I'm sure you guys have gone through that, where we meet someone and there's this charisma, this passion, and for 1 month or 2 months, oh my God, we just cannot give enough or cannot get enough from each other. And then once that ends, a lot of times people either are so full that they don't want any more and everybody goes their own way, or people start acting weird. Sometimes they do want more, but they're acting weird. Or sometimes people are able to relax and say, well, let's take it easy and let's do this now a little bit different. Let's get, make an agreement here, right? And work it out, but let's move it into a different, pace or a different, let's transform this, right? So here it's like you're learning and understanding that, Virgo. And that's wonderful, my friends. Congratulations, because this is what we are meant to do in every area of your life. So if I am reading for those of you who can relate to my message, remember this is a very overall reading. And sometimes I get messages from people that are asking about something that I'm not reading. So if this does not resonate with you, Virgo, my friend, and then go and find the person that will describe your situation or have a personal reading. But I am reading here for, a particular Virgo. And you have been able to, through your efforts, right, and understanding, to harmonize something that is not easy to do. But once you get it, you can do it again and again and again and again. And I can assure you that you won't have to go through what this other person that you're dealing with here, or you don't have to do it in that way. And I can see that you're not, because they have to go through a death. The person that is coming out here describing the person that is interested in you, Virgo, this is, well, I will talk about them in a minute, okay? But they've had to go through their death to get something. It's like wake up call. Sometimes we have to hit bottom, right, to understand something. I feel like in your case, you're kind of finally understanding something. And, you know, it might have been unclear at first, or it might have been difficult because, you know, sometimes habits are hard to break, right? Oh, tell me about it. Habits are hard to break. And when, you know, our mind is used to doing something, you know, we have to work with the mind. And if we can stop being critical, and if we can stop judging ourselves, and if we can be honest to ourselves, and then we can educate the mind in a way that we start like understanding, oh, this is not really about me. This is about teaching an aspect of me how to do something that is better. It's a better option. It gives me better results. And that's kind of what I'm feeling here. This is amazing because, as you see, we're moving forward, right? With this attitude, you're coming into the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles, number 2 in tarot, is the energy of the Priestess. Okay? And the World card, Virgo, it's when we learn to use our intuition, trust our intuition, when we start using our, you know, insights, our wisdom. And this is not just like wishy-washy wisdom, right? We're talking here about illuminated, you know, knowledge. This is knowledge. We're understanding that we're much, much more than a mind and a logic and a physical body, right? And then we get the clarity. So intuition with clarity, isn't it a powerful tool? Hell yeah. That starts, you know, changing our whole perspective of things. And, you know, we don't just are reacting. We're not responding by a reaction. We're starting to see that there's more to this divine plan. And that we just have to relax and trust, surrender and trust. And when we're in that place of allowing, then the universe delivers, and delivers with great surprises. And this is what I see here. I wouldn't be surprised if many of you, Virgo, will end up having a sudden surprise. And this is where there's different options, right? Somebody from the past is coming. You know, they have the Hermit, and they're paying attention. They're taking their time to reflect. And you see them, right? They're searching for clarity. And of course, this is someone who doesn't move as quickly as you do, Virgo. This is someone who takes their time. And they kind of have to get distracted for a little bit to deal with their own emotions, because they have too much on their plate, and that's just their style. You know, you like to go right down to the nitty-gritty. Let's deal with this problem and, you know, find the solution. Not everybody's like you, my friends. This is someone who likes to just kind of take their own time, and they're too busy, and then they get distracted, and then they start feeling their heart. Their emotions catch up to their, you know, or to their mind. And all of a sudden they're like, uh-oh. But we know, Virgo, from the last 2 readings that someone was, you know, going through their growing pains. And I could see that this person had to go through their death. As a matter of fact, I would say that they're still doing through that. But they're getting it because they're coming as the turtle. And the turtle, we know that, you know, just because they're slow, they're not stupid. They come with the water sign. Okay? It takes a long time, but they get there. Now, they're also coming with the crow. And the crow, in some practices, this is someone who is... Man, the crow is, you know, these are creatures that are quite intense, aren't they? They love to eat dead animals. But they're very smart. And they, you know, in certain practices, the crow can see the dead. So this is, I'm talking here about, I'm describing somebody here who likes magic or alchemy. So they also have their own thing going on. So while you are using insights on the light side, they're using it on the dark side. Is one better than the other? No, they're just different. You're finding your rhythm and your clarity like this, and they're finding it like that with the crow, with, that type of, we're talking about shamanism, Wiccan, or Wiccan. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Remember, I'm Spanish. But, like they're doing some, they're interested in some sort of mysterious magic practices. Interesting. Now, they also come with Scorpio energy. And you know that in astrology, Scorpio represents the 8th house, and it's also about death. But remember, in that death, we find transformation. I don't know if you guys know, a Scorpio, they love to live in stagnant water. So that's why these people sometimes they struggle, because they seem to sometimes get stuck in the same rut, same sort of way of thinking. It's true. I mean, I love them to death because they are great creatures. And as Virgo, I believe that we get along very well with them. We think like them. But they can, when they get insecure, these guys, these people are, they can get really stuck in their mind. And, it's okay. They're learning just like, Virgos are. And everybody else. But here we could see that they're coming, Scorpio and the crow, you guys, it's the same type of energy. Water, 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 water. So they are purifying themselves with the water element, purifying their thoughts, their emotions with the water element, while you're doing it with fire, because you keep coming through with fire, Virgo. But I just love the fact that you have been able to transform and, like harmonize these elements. So here they are, okay? So they're going through their death, their transformation. They're finally like coming out of it, because here with the 10 of Swords and the 10 of Pentacles, they're coming out. This is new beginnings. But they still sore. They still hurt. They're still probably thinking, oh, poor me, like whatever, get over it. But, it's just normal. Sometimes we do go through that, right? And they're using the Strength card, which I feel like it's a very positive card, because they're sort of taming their own emotions and their own insecurities and their own whatever expectations. And what I like about it is that as they're moving forward, the card that's coming up is the 7 of Pentacles. And this is someone who is basically realizing at the end, of the day, as they put things into a balance, they could see that there are so many good things. I mean, here we are looking at the seeds that we've planted, and in their heart, they have the 2 of Cups. So they can see that there was so many good moments. Now, this is where I'm now picking up different situations, okay? So this is some Virgos that met someone and you kind of got along for a little bit, and then you went separate ways because the person was not sure. They just become easily distracted. This could also be that some of you are attracting somebody new, that they went through the same thing that you went through, Virgo, and still in their mind, they're going through some stuff with their last relationship, and you may end up meeting them, and you will see that they still hurt or, somewhat sore about their last experience. And can also be that some of you were in a relationship long term with someone that now is having, second thoughts and want another chance. And this is where I'm going to say, Virgo, that for those of you who were in an abusive relationship, whether verbally or physically, to think it over, to think about it. Because although I can see that this person is changing and has changed and they are illuminating themselves, I don't believe that it's a good idea to take this person back. Of course, my friends, I cannot tell you what to do. You have free will. And you know better than anybody else your situation, if it's worth it or not. But I would say think about it. Because in an abusive relationship, these people, they come to teach us a great lesson. But once we're done, that's it. And here with Neptune, it could be a karmic relationship that you needed to learn. And sometimes what happens is that we get very comfortable in the relationship, comfortable to a point that then we create attachments. And those attachments is what keep us in an unhealthy environment. Okay, our way of thinking and reasoning is what keeps us in those unhealthy situations. But it's not because we're meant to stay there for very long. So this is where I'm going to say, please think it over before you say yes. Because here there are different situations playing out, and I don't know. All I can tell you is what I see here and translate. So someone here is going through their transformation, and it's great because the energy looks very positive, but still in their mind they still are feeling sorry for themselves, and it's like, whatever, get over it. But you are in a very different place, and I think it's great because if you continue to vibrate this energy, I did do some predictions, remember, Virgo? I did some predictions, and I said that January was not going to be the month for love and affection and relationships. It was going to be February. Of course, some people say, well, that's because Valentine's. Well, no, it has nothing to do with Valentine's. It has to do with vibration. So anyways, I feel like some of you are going to experience that, and that's great. Now, remember, don't create expectations. Continue to focus in your priorities, because with the World card, we're having a lot of opportunities. And Virgo, these are sudden opportunities. Least expected, it's showing up and knocking on your door. And it could just be about work. It could be about many other things, which has been coming out in your reading. But here with the World card, man, this is like awesome energy to show in your readings. And of course with the hummingbird even more, because this is about being happy, being appreciative. The only thing is that with the hummingbird we have to be aware at not being too persistent. Pay attention to the energy flow. Sometimes we get really persistent and we won't take no for an answer. So keep that in mind, that energy has a flow, just like the moon, just like the seasons. And sometimes when we get stuck and persistent on something, we can exhaust ourselves, and we don't want to do that. I mean, I don't see that here, but I was just saying that. So just keep that in mind. So this is a very positive thing going on here, because I see you guys thinking about either an opportunity that happened or an opportunity that, showed up. But something is definitely happened here with someone. And this person seemed to be very interested in having a new beginning, and they seem to be very ready. But just keep in mind what I said about, abuse, okay? Now, what I like about it, that the energy, because I always ask, what is the energy that can balance and, bring the equilibrium between Virgo and the person, right? The other person. Here comes Sagittarius. And this is where I feel like awesome, because Sagittarius represents the ninth house in astrology, which is the house of breaking, breaking through our own patterns, getting away from our comfort zone and trying something new. This talks about travel. This talks about doing something different. It's ruled by Jupiter, which is the planet of good luck. So finally, I feel like the two of you, Virgo, are in the same wavelength. It's like the two of you finally have reached that crossroad where now, you with your wisdom and they with their own, you can understand each other. There is a harmony here. There is a balance. And you both are looking for the same thing. You're looking to move on to better things. You're looking for things outside your comfort zone to finally reach what you desire. I mean, this is just amazing. This is really awesome. Before, you didn't have this. They were always coming upside down. But this time, this is what I call similar, very, vibration that is in tune. And this is where Spirit is saying, Virgo, you got to hydrate more. Camel is about hydration, okay? So I can give you this formula that can help you know how many glasses of water you can drink. So for those of you who are doing it in pound, take the amount of pounds that you weighed and divide it for, 16. Okay, and that will equal the amount of glasses of water that you should drink a day, because this is talking about purifying, the body, helping with circulation, with the nerve system, and releasing toxicity. Also, for those of you who do it with kilograms, take the amount of kilograms that you weighed, divide it by 7, and you should know how many glasses of water. This also talks about, making or creating the opportunity to go to a retreat. Could either be a yoga or getting away even for a weekend and just connecting with nature, breathing, so that you can also help the body with the shift, okay? Because these are a lot of different elements here, okay? So we need to help the body, the physical body. And I'm going to end the reading with the insights of this sage. This is the Oracle of the Wisdom Keepers. I love this oracle. They have such a beautiful cards. So when I look at these cards, I feel like whoever developed this, they were doing plant medicine. It's like this type of art. It's like, yeah, were you doing plant medicine? Ayahuasca? It's beautiful. But anyways, the message here comes with the number 8, okay? And it's farsightedness. So the story of this sage talks about that, he was the first one of his kind, that he had all the opportunities to get ahead, okay? So all the responsibility was put on his shoulder, that he had all of the options to get ahead, to succeed. And he grew up thinking that way. And then he went to college and he became a lawyer. And after he became a lawyer, he was someone who was very successful, very humanitarian, and very insightful, right? But, although he was all of those things, he was very admirable. So out of all those things, the one thing that he was not was happy. He said that he was very insecure. He was always competing with other people and always comparing himself to other people, to the point that he forgot to love himself. And this is where the message comes. Virgo, no matter what kind of belief you have, what kind of religious practice you follow, what kind of theory you have, that there's nothing more important than love for the self. And if you have become too opinionated because of all the things that you've learned and you have theories to back you up, the only way you can break away from that is through cultivating a sense of humor. Because being too overly opinionated is not a good thing. As a matter of fact, it can get in the relationship of the people. It can get in the way of the relationships of the people you love. So here, this is where he advises to laugh more, to laugh at yourself, like don't take things too seriously. And this is where you could also ask questions like, what are the things that you are too serious? Why are you so serious about them? What are the things that you have strong opinions, and why? Because when you start trusting the universe, you don't have to make a point. You just know that things are working out for you. You know what I mean? So, if there's certain fears behind those opinions, where's the areas of your life where you could really use more support? And in what way? What are the things that, you enjoy? What are the things you don't? So, asking those questions will really help you understand where you're at. And it also will help you change those things that you can change, right? Not until we acknowledge that there are certain things that we don't like, we can't change them. I myself, I have to tell you, I didn't learn to, because sometimes, we talk about, love for the self. And people say, well, I love myself. I go to a spa, I get a massage, I take time for vacation. I definitely enjoy myself. And, I got to a point to understand that that was not it. And for me, okay, loving myself was to learning to accept myself, especially those things that I didn't feel proud of, like not until I learned to acknowledge that, yes, there were certain things about my attitude and personality that were not, healthy. I was not able to change them, and accepting and loving them, all of those aspects of myself, was so healing. And I understood then where they came from. A lot of times I would just ignore them or suppress them, but it wasn't until I started to looking at them with a real eye, with a clear eye, that I was not able to change them. And loving that part of me was what helped me to transform them. So, love for the self is what, the key where we can soothe and smooth out all of those, rough edges. All right, Virgo. So I spit everything out in 32 minutes. But I hope you get my drift. I think, I hope, I know you will. I know you will. So basically, I'm going to conclude that, if you can, continue to do this as we're moving forward to, February, you will definitely create and attract more options that are in alignment with your true desires, with your dreams. Because that's what Neptune talks about, is being able to fulfill our dreams by knowing that everything begins by, within. Everything begins within. It's how we, reconcile our, passions with our needs, with our beliefs, with our emotions, and with our mind, right? So once you're able to do that, everything else just happens, right? Trusting, surrendering. All right, guys, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. The best of luck to you, and I will see you next week.